So, number 9 on the top 10 mistakes bookkeepers make, and of course, how you can avoid them, would be not building a team. And for many of you who are out there venturing out on your own for the very first time, starting your own business for the very first time, the prospect of building a team or hiring employees can be incredibly daunting. But what I can tell you is this: you'll never find another bookkeeper who matches you hour for hour, minute for minute on how productive they are versus how productive you are. In most cases, you'll be at least 1.5 to 2 times more productive than they are working in your business. Because why? Well, it's your business. You are more passionate. You're the one who wakes up in the middle of the night thinking about it, thinking about ways that you can grow your business. And they are an employee. Even the most dedicated employee is not thinking about your business in the top of their mind at all times. It's just how it goes. Our recommendation is that you hire either a virtual assistant, which allows you to kind of try out the ability to offload some of the tasks that maybe you don't love doing, or to hire an administrative assistant. I like the idea of baby steps. So if you and I were talking and it was a coaching call and you were saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to be guilty of, the 9th mistake, I would tell you start with baby steps. Start by hiring a virtual assistant, maybe to work for you for 4 hours a week. It's a small time commitment. You are going to pay a higher hourly rate than you would if you hired a part-timer, but in the long run, it will help you to break into delegating tasks. From there, I'd recommend you take the next step of hiring a part-time administrative assistant. And from there, I'd recommend you take the final step of hiring that part-time person and turning them into a full-time person, or in some cases, you need to hire a completely different person to fulfill the full-time role. Once you have that full-time administrative assistant in place and you're used to the additional cost of payroll for them, then you're able to start looking at if it makes sense to hire on additional bookkeepers. And what I can tell you is you can find some fantastic additional bookkeepers, and you can also find some not so fantastic additional bookkeepers. So your skill set really needs to be in place and strong before you bring on additional professionals onto your team. Don't be guilty of the 9th mistake that bookkeepers make. I do want to add one piece. If you are looking at the price or what to expect to pay, if you have somebody on staff and they are a W-2 employee, you can just think that their cost will be whatever their hourly rate is plus 20%. So if you're paying somebody, let's say their pay, and they were a W-2 employee, just for simple math, their pay was $100 a week. That would be nice, but that would also be slave labor wages. If they're at $100 a week, then your cost for payroll with taxes and things along those lines would be $120 a week. So it's a nice little average of 20% that you can add on there for payroll fees if you're trying to figure out the equation in your head. But don't be guilty of number 9, and don't slow your growth by being afraid to hire additional team members.